Hey everybody, hope you are good. So today I actually wanted to do a kind of transfer proof slash mask proof type of makeup routine. It's been a while since I've done a makeup routine on my channel and I thought it was about time. So some of these products I have used before, but others are pretty new to my makeup routine. So in other words, I've used some of them time and time again and some are new. So I think the most important thing to say a long-lasting makeup routine is, in fact, there are two things. So you can either go the light route or the heavy duty route, and the reason I say one or the other is that, well, based on what I've seen and what I've tried, is that if you were to apply your makeup in a very light fashion, just like basically spot concealing, spot foundation application or light foundation application, what you find, and if it is as close to your skin as possible, what you find is if you were in a situation where you got hot and sweaty and some of your makeup was to come off, it wouldn't be as obvious because one, you've got a very light layer on, two, it's close to your skin anyway and you don't have like a whole lot going on, like you don't have like heavy contour, heavy this, heavy that, heavy blush application, heavy, you know, heavy everything. So if things were to rub off, it wouldn't be as obvious because everything was pretty close to your skin anyway. And then we have the heavy duty route, which is where you know, apply your powder before foundation, you apply your primer, your foundation, you apply your concealer, you set it, then you apply your, you know, I don't know, whatever, you know, like you've seen these makeup routines where it's just like bam 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 bam, it's like 17 products later we have a full glam beat on. It looks amazing, it photographs it very well, but then in real life it just looks like a lot of makeup. But then because of those layers and maybe the type of products that have been used, that makeup look could potentially last a very long time because, you know, there's so many layers. It takes a long time for your makeup, for your oils to come through, especially if you have oily skin. And having said that as well, I feel like maybe oily skin might be more at risk of having your makeup come off because, again, your oils will break down your makeup. And if you have dry skin, then maybe the only thing you probably have to contend with is, say, maybe flaky skin. If you have dry skin but it's flaky as well, then having your makeup come off and then creating a bit of texture and maybe having your makeup look patchy where your mask has kind of rubbed off against your skin. So maybe that's probably the only thing when we're talking about dry skin. But I think this problem that we have in terms of transfer proof makeup is usually directed towards oily skin because oily skin tends to have problems with makeup lasting because our oils come through and start breaking down makeup. So yeah, so those are the two approaches I've seen. I like to think I'm more on the light side in terms of my application, but there are certain things that you can use that will help. So your base is obviously very important, and when I say your base actually starts before your makeup application. So the first thing I definitely say is get your skincare routine right. I have a couple skincare videos I can link. As you can see, I have acne prone skin, oily skin, or oily my T-zone, normal in the perimeter, and because of that I have to make sure I just, you know, take care of my skin. My skin is well hydrated and it has everything it needs apart from the hormonal acne flare-ups maybe that I have. My skin functions in the way that it should, hopefully. At least my skincare routine helps as well. Of course, what you put into your body also has a major impact on that, and probably more than what you put on your skin, and that's another video entirely. But what I'm trying to say is your skincare routine plays a big part in how long your makeup lasts and how your skin feels, how your skin performs throughout the day. So I already have done my makeup, so I've already done my skincare routine. So apart from your skincare, depending on your skin concern, you might also need a primer as well. So if you're extremely oily, you might need a very mattifying primer to just keep those oils at bay so that it doesn't break down your makeup, so that it doesn't wear off. And if you've got normal skin, you probably are fine. You probably don't need primer unless you have other skincare concerns such as pores. Then you might want to use a pore filling primer or have makeup, say foundation, that can actually have like a blurring effect or fill your pores in as well. So some foundations can do that as well, and also powders can help with that as well. So if you have normal skin, you're probably fine. You probably don't need primer. And dry skin, you probably want to use a very hydrating primer. So with my particular skin, I tend to lean towards more the mattifying primers, because like I said, I have oily skin, and sometimes I don't even use primer. So like I said, it also depends on your skin and if you think the makeup you've got can last. So some foundations that I have, I've not noticed any difference in using primer, and then with some of them I have. And then with some of the primers I have as well, some of them perform better than others. Some of them are just for pore filling, some of them are for oil control, some of them are for both. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of things to consider. The long and short of this is that you just have to know your skin or try out different things to know what works for you. But back to the whole question of light versus heavy foundation application, I tend to lean towards more the light side. I mean, we've all seen makeup routines on YouTube, especially where there's just a lot going on, and if you want to do that, just it's basically a lot more work, because it's a lot of blending and a lot to contend with in terms of taking it off and in terms of putting it on in the first place. So I will just show you what I've been playing with or what I know has worked before, and we'll go from there. So in terms of my primer, like I said, my skincare routine's already done. Sunscreen on as well, that is very important. I have two that I have actually been playing with for a while. I have my W7 Primagic Camera Ready silicone based primer. This is what it looks like, and it's very cheap. It's available in the UK, it's not available in the US, I don't think. But again, use your best silicone based pore filling primer, if you will. I take a pea size amount and I just apply it in my T-zone. I've already done my brows, as you can see. I will link a video in terms of what I use on my brows these days, and my brows last all day. Everything that I've used to prepare my brows, make sure it lasts all day. And as well, I might as well just apply that primer on my eyelids, because my eyelids also get oily. But in terms of making your makeup last, it's all about the products you use, your skin type, and your application as well. I do follow the Jackie Aina method most times, which is to set my primer with powder. I also have this NYX Soft Focus Tinted Primer. I use it sporadically. The color is Warm, Soft P03 Warm, and it is very pink looking. It has a moussey texture, and a little goes a long way. I tried using it a few times on like the areas of my face where I have blemishes, just to help out with that, so I don't need to apply so much foundation later, and also because it's also very pore filling. Next, I'm going to take my Coty S-Bond powder and just lightly dab it everywhere. And the color I have is translucent extra coverage, by the way. One of the most, I want to say, transfer proof foundations I have, and that also is drugstore, is my NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation. I did a review on it a long time ago, and there are a couple of things to remember with this foundation. So this is what it looks like. My color is in Cappuccino, And a couple of things to remember with this foundation, is that one, it stains a lot. Like, it stains so badly that anything it spills on, just forget about trying to get it off, basically. I mean, I'm yet to find a makeup hack in terms of makeup removal from things like bed sheets, carpets. Those are just to give you an example of where this foundation has fallen in my house, in my bedroom. So yeah, it actually has ruined like my bed sheets, because I get dressed on a vanity next to my bed. And I remember one day when I was trying to use the foundation after not using it for about a week and a half or 2 weeks. And another basically leading on to the second con of this foundation is that it blocks, because it dries when the spout, the like tiny hole in the head dries, it clogs up the actual head of the foundation, so that when you do pump it, that forces the foundation out and it just squirts out. So that happened twice on my bed sheets, and I couldn't get it off, basically. So it's ruined my bed sheets. I've also randomly, when I'm getting dressed in the morning as well, I've also found spots of it on my clothes. So it has ruined about two shirts. I say ruined, it's kind of made spots on 2 shirts. One of them, it wasn't really obvious, so I don't talk about it. It's not an issue. But it also fell on a jumper of mine that I really loved, a light colored, pastel colored jumper, and yeah, it ruined that as well, because it's like a very obvious stain on there. Basically, it ruins everything it touches. As good as it is, it ruins everything it touches. But it is the oily girl's best friend in terms of affordability and application. The formula of this is really good. It's full coverage, dries matte. It is probably the most matte foundation I have ever seen in terms of its initial application. Eventually oils come through, by the way. So I mean, watch the whole video anyway, you see the things I've done with it. I tried it with different primers, I tried it with different foundations, because this isn't my exact match. It is a little bit warm, even though the description online says it's meant to be a cool tone foundation. It's not, but it's the closest thing to my skin. So having said that, I managed to pop off the lid. When I tried to squirt it this morning, I cleaned the top off, and I tried to see if it would if foundation would come out, and the pump isn't working. So that's another thing. If you've had it in your collection for a while, you might want to check it and see if the pump is still working. Mine isn't. I cleared the whole, like the blockage, and I tried to pump it and nothing came out. So then I had to take off the lid, which is a bit of a hassle. So I don't know if anybody knows another foundation head that matches this bottle. If you happen to know, please do comment down below, let me know. But yeah, those are the things I found with this foundation. But other than that, if you do manage to not get it on your clothes, you are going to be golden, because this foundation is really good. It's one of the most transfer proof foundations. If you have normal skin or dry skin, you are going to be good for the day. But again, if you have dry skin, you probably shouldn't be applying this foundation. So basically, if you have oily skin, be fine with this foundation. But dry skin, I would approach with caution and just heavily moisturize or something. I'm just going to apply a little bit where I need it. It's such a shame that the pump doesn't work on this. So I haven't worn foundation in such a long time, I'm not even gonna lie. The last time I wore foundation was a good couple of weeks ago. I've just been spot concealing. And for like the mask situation as well, I definitely say apply a very thin amount, as thin as you can go without your makeup looking patchy. Another thing with this foundation is it dries quickly as well, so buyer beware. So because I've applied a bit more on the lower half of my face looks a lot warmer, or at least half of my face looks a lot warmer than the top half. Okay. Another thing I do with this foundation is to mix it, but the only thing is that I mix it with this foundation here. So this is I believe this is available all over the world, but it's more of a UK known foundation. This is the Max Factor Healthy Skin Harmony Miracle Foundation in 2095, and it's more olive toned. So I love mixing the two of them together, but it does kind of affect the long lastingness of the NYX foundation, if I'm being honest, because this one is more of a healthy skin, you know, slash dewy foundation situation. So I'm just going to see what happens when I apply a little bit, but it's probably not even going to make a difference, to be honest. So one thing I haven't done on my channel is to try out the concealers. I waited for I was waiting basically for them to be on offer, because for me I think they're quite expensive for the price. NYX foundation itself is expensive for a drugstore foundation, and NYX itself as a brand, NYX as a brand is on the pricey side in terms of you know, drugstore brands. Sometimes I do like to wait for offers in terms of before I buy anything from the brand. So I have 4 shades, and I will say by mistake, I have 4 shades of their concealers, which is actually good for you if you wanted to compare shades. So from darkest to lightest, we have cappuccino, warm caramel, golden honey, and golden. I have tried cappuccino, I think, to like spot conceal, and I think this concealer as well, if I remember correctly, dries pretty quickly. Actually, let me swatch it on my hands as well so you can see. Yeah, so this is cappuccino, warm caramel, warm golden honey, and golden, from my left to right as I'm looking at the camera. I don't know what that works out to be, but yeah, those are the colors. So I'm just going to apply warm caramel just to spot conceal. I'm going to use my Juno & Co Black Cloud sponge. Let's see how that applies. Oh, can you see that? It's taking it off. Okay, I'm going to apply it with a brush instead, I think. Maybe because the sponge itself is wet. So next I'm gonna take the shade Golden Honey, just on that little dark spot there. Let's see what that does. Ah, that was a mistake. Let me put back the cappuccino shade again. Okay, now everything is lifting. Oh girl, what have you done? I'm gonna put back my foundation. Can you see how it's gathering? Oh, okay. Oh, I don't know what to do about that now. How can I do some damage control? Okay, I'm just gonna have to leave it as is. The concealer applies really well. I think I'm going to go in with the shade Golden Honey. Next I'm going to apply my concealer, and maybe I'm going to use the shade Warm Caramel because that's a bit of a slightly more neutral shade. I like how it kind of bounces light off my face a little bit. So because of the mask situation, I'm not gonna do too much to my nose. Okay, so that's everything in terms of my base. That is as much as I'm going to apply. Everything else I'm going to apply will be powder base. I've tried to make sure the lower half of my face is covered. I've applied as light a layer as I can to the whole of my face, except this whole situation here. And as you can see, it's filled in my pores really, really well. And my skin is actually quite matte as it is right now, but not tight at all. But then I did have my skin felt hydrated because I had my makeup routine on. So this is what my face looks like. I'm just going to apply my powders. The next thing I'm going to use to set my concealer, that concealer also dried pretty quickly, is my Revolution chocolate banana powder. I heart Revolution, by the way, and I really like the way this powder looked. It is quite golden. In fact, I think it's a little bit darker in the pan than it is than it looks on camera. I'm going to use my e.l.f. highlighting brush because I like the fact that it's tapered. I like this powder a lot because I used it in my previous video, by the way, when I did a makeup look using Tammy Clark's collection. What is it called? The Tropical Twilight collection. And I really liked how it sat on the skin. And this has like a chocolate banana, like cocoa type of scent to it, by the way. It's not my favorite scent. It kind of reminds me of Palmer's cocoa butter, like the original Palmer's cocoa butter skincare scent. I'm also going to just lightly apply. Okay, it comes with a puff, by the way, if you wanted to use it together. And then for all over my face, I will use my, I like to hop between my Vichy Derma Blend powder. So I like to hop between my Vichy Derma Blend powder and my Too Faced Peach Perfect powder, which I love the scent of. It just wakes me up in the morning. I don't know which one I'll use today. I think I'll use my Derma Blend, and it's a completely translucent powder as well. So I'm just going to apply that again lightly to my face. And I got this powder after watching a really old video from Destiny Godly, one of the OG YouTubers, and she recommended this powder for setting your makeup because it basically locks everything in. And I think she said she slept in her makeup one night, came back home, she was so tired she slept off in her makeup, and she woke up the next morning and her makeup was still there, and this was the powder she used to finish everything off. Of course, I'm sure something else played a part in that, maybe the setting spray she used or something, I don't know, but powder plays a big part in your makeup routine, especially if you are oily. So I got it after that video. I thought yes, I need a powder that can hold my face together, put my face together basically, and hold it there until I'm ready to take it off. So this is that. Next I'm going to use my Tammy Clark Paradise Glow face palette. I'm not going anywhere today, so I'm just going to contour. think I'm going to take my Technic brush and use the contour shade a little bit actually, and I'll just use that just to apply a little bit of a shadow. When I'm lazy, I just take the same contour brush and I just use that to add the shadow back into my nose a little bit. Then apply a very small amount of blush. I dab off some of the excess on my arm just because this blush shade is pretty strong. And again, I'm just putting on a flush of colour, just one tap, trying not to apply too much. Next, I'm going to go over the rest of my face with my, in fact, I forgot to say, so another thing I haven't featured on my channel is the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop powder foundation. And this foundation is really good. I think it kind of lasts all day. It's one of those all day full coverage foundations. The only problem I have with it is that the powder shades don't match the liquid shades. And I remember when they launched this, they didn't really shout about it too much, and I was just a bit confused as to why, because they had this amazing foundation range which has 45 shades, and then we have this contour, this powder which is meant to complement it, but I didn't hear a single peep about the whole thing. When the powder shades came out, I was really disappointed. This shade is meant to be cappuccino, and it is so cool tone, it's a joke, like it's not even funny. But I like to use it because it doesn't really move too much. It's a little bit dark, so that it's not an exact skin match. So I find that on the days when I use it, it kind of lasts, it stops my smile lines creasing. So I like to use it kind of lightly all over my face. Second to last, I like to use my NYX No Filter foundation. I think this makeup look is this foundation, this base has basically turned into almost my glam going out type of look. You don't need to do this. This is just because I have it. This is what color is this? This one is called Golden. I don't even know if they still do this anymore. It isn't something I see a lot of YouTubers talk about, but I really like it. It is like a MAC mineralized skin finish. It just blurs everything, although right now I'm really happy with the texture of my skin because everything looks really blurred and like really filled in. We're very close to the end now. Next, I'm going to take the highlight shade in here. It's a very dry formula. I don't like to take my highlight too far up my forehead because I already have some real estate up there. So when my O's come through, it's just going to be beaming to the high heavens. Just going to stick my finger in there and apply it to my inner corners of my eyes. Okay, so that is my base done. I'm just going to set my face with a setting spray I've actually been loving. I've kind of gone away from my more alcohol based setting sprays because Again, they're quite drying, and now that we are basically in autumn going into winter pretty soon, I just want my face to not feel like tight. And plus this foundation, like I said, is the mattest foundation you will find. So what I've been using is something I bought just by the off chance. I am going to do a video on makeup MUA Makeup Academy, which is probably the cheapest brand at Superdrug. They're a UK based brand, and they just do really affordable makeup. A lot of it was pretty bad before, like kind of chalky. I mean, the quality of it wasn't great years and years ago. Now they've brought out some better products, and on top of that, they now have darker shades in their foundations as well. So if you're looking for an affordable foundation range that's even cheaper than Makeup Revolution, sometimes, mostly, MUA Makeup Academy is one that I definitely think you should, look into. But I bought their pro-based mattifying fixing spray. It says it's all day long wear. When I looked at the ingredients, it was actually really good ingredients at the top. So the first thing is aqua water. Second thing is propylene glycol, it's a humectant. The third thing is aloe barbadensis leaf extract. Again, that's aloe vera extract. Copolymer, which is something that is it's a type of silicone basically to help with setting and keeping your face together. And then the only thing I can see in here, which we could do without, to be honest, is the perfume. So perfume is close to the bottom of the list. But yeah, and it also has panthenol as well. Oh, and it has niacinamide after butylene glycol, another humectant, niacinamide, panthenol, which is a skin conditioning agent. Yes, it has some good ingredients in here. And apart from the perfume, which again, if you're not super allergic to perfume, you're probably fine anyway. So yeah, I've been using it because I really like it, and it's probably the only setting spray I have that doesn't have denatured alcohol as the second or third ingredient, which a lot of the makeup setting sprays I have do. So I've been using it a lot. The mist is kind of like a standard mist. It's not the finest mist, but it won't spit at you basically, so I like it for that. So this is what it looks like, by the way. And I think it's like maybe £4 or £5. And once I set my face, I'm just going to apply my lip products, my mascara, and that's about it. So I will be right back. Okay, so my makeup is finished. I decided to go with a bold lip gloss look, and this is the Revlon Ultra HD Vinyl Lip Polish High Shine Lip Gloss, and I love it. So, right. One thing to point out though with transfer proof long lasting makeup is you probably don't want to be wearing something like this on your lips. I will say that, especially if you're talking about wearing a mask as well, simply because it's going to rub off. What you want to do is to wear a matte lip gloss, a matte liquid lipstick. So if you've been one of those people who jumped on the lip gloss bandwagon, you threw out all your matte liquid lipsticks thinking liquid lipsticks were dead, COVID-19 brought them back, because I don't think there's anything more essential in your makeup kit than a matte liquid lipstick right now, because that thing will not budge, and what you need is makeup that won't budge, and that is the only thing you can apply to your lips while wearing a mask. If you have to like wear your mask for a long time, and if you just don't want your makeup to move like this, I would never put a mask over this, but I just felt like putting something glossy on my lips. So yeah, any liquid lipstick is what you definitely want to put on your lips. And then in terms of how long your makeup will last as well when you're wearing a mask, there are other things to consider. So once you've applied your makeup, you probably want to make sure that the last thing you apply, which I didn't show, is a translucent powder, because everything else has color. So if you think, like for me, the last step that I actually applied is my contour powder, I believe, or my highlight, one of the two. Whatever my last step is, whatever your last step is, it needs to be your translucent powder plus your fixing spray, and that should hopefully be the last thing you apply, because anything else has color and what might move later on, if not immediately. I mean, it depends. So yeah, that's probably one thing to consider. And also under heat, your makeup might move, especially if your skin is oily. So technically there isn't a way to proof, like to guarantee and say, your makeup is 100% going to stay on your face. if you're wearing a mask, but it will last longer if you take certain steps like I have. Yeah, so those are the things to consider. And what else is there? Oh yeah, so with oil, I mean, I just want to target this towards people who do have oily skin, but again, as with transfer proof makeup, once you apply it the first time, where's my tissue? Right, so once you apply it the first time, like once it's freshly applied and it's set, it will be transfer proof. But during the day, as your oils come through, like later on, it will start to break down the makeup. So what you should do is pat away the oil with a blotting paper or tissue paper, and then reapply a translucent powder on top. And then so as I was saying, my SD card got full, by the way. So in terms of reapplication, then you need to obviously apply your translucent powder, then reset your makeup. So I think that would definitely help with the longevity of your makeup and to keep it transfer proof as well, and just to reseal everything. Where, I mean, as oily skin people, we're constantly fighting against the oil, so those are the things I found helped me. I actually forgot to even see, yeah, so on the parts that your face is not typically oily, there's like barely anything on there. But I feel like the minute your oils start coming through, then it starts to break down the makeup. So there's a bit. This is now much later in the day, by the way. So at the point when I applied the foundation, my makeup was properly transfer proof, but as the oils come through, I don't expect that to be, and that's not the case. So if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video. Stay blessed, have a great morning, afternoon, evening or night, wherever you are. I will catch you in my next one. Bye.